Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to be today putting together our final map design based on the first two units, or rather lessons, in our map making, visual storytelling, map making unit. So let's just jump right in. Now, I went ahead, I got my map started. If you can remember, I focused my map around the weekends that I spend seeing my parents in the Poconos. And I actually have my key. I took the screenshot of my key on my computer, which is you can't see right now, but that's going to be guiding me as I'm explaining kind of how I'm setting up my map and the things that I'm doing, to complete the map. So let's get started. Jumping in, I did a little pre-work and kind of mapped a few things out. Obviously, the road that I'm taking is now kind of laid out. Different parts of this road are different roads. I'll be able to kind of identify them through symbols and making different sorts of symbols and shapes and things to mark them, as well as the start and ending spot for the, for instance, my apartment here. Okay, I could have had a little piece of red paper. I'm also over here. I'm gonna put the gas station I had mentioned. That's kind of like the halfway point between Astoria, where I live, my apartment, and my parents' house. I also got some blue paper. Now I'm using like cutout paper, which is fine to do, kind of making a collage. I'm also drawing, so I'm doing like a mixed medium sort of a piece. If you just want to make a straight drawing, that's fine. If you want to look around for some other sorts of materials, I'm using cardboard, other paper that I had kind of just laying around, packaging stuff. Nothing too fancy. And then just kind of like working with markers, colored pencils, things of that nature. I also got some fancy paint markers, which kind of allow you to draw on top of things. Like you could see the yellow dots that I was able to draw for the road, have that nice little detail in there. All right, so just to kind of give you a basic walkthrough, I think starting in a corner, no matter what corner it is, on your sheet, no matter how big or small you're working with, starting in a corner for the starting point is a good idea. That allows you to kind of leave the rest of the open space open to kind of be able to design as you go. Okay, so my starting point here, this is going to be my apartment. I'm going to spend a little bit more time adding some details into that square. And then just kind of walking through my key. I know we talked about the geography, so one thing I wanted to mention, the last week when I was up at my parents', I had some large pieces of tracing paper. The leaves are now turning now that we're in fall, and it was very beautiful up there. So I took two pieces of tracing paper, a whole bunch of glue, and if you can see, you can kind of see that there are real leaves inside of the paper that I'm working on. So I thought that was a nice little addition. Again, it was like really easy to do. Tracing paper works the best because you can kind of like see through it. And also, it's got like this very kind of nice texture, kind of rough look to it, which makes kind of look like old. Use some cardboard in here to represent some mountains, some landmarks we had talked about, along with the roads and major thoroughfares. So, like you see, the first bridge here. This is the Triborough Bridge, or the RFK Bridge, and then the road leads to through the Bronx. I'm going to do something for the Bronx in here because I kind of go through part of the Bronx to get to the George Washington Bridge. So I'll add some kind of illustration or detail in there. Then we have the George Washington Bridge that brings me into New Jersey. New Jersey, then kind of going around Bear Mountain. I have to kind of go around the mountain when I get up to Bear Mountain, which is upstate New York. which is close to the halfway point. This symbol right here is going to represent the gas station, which is kind of like the halfway point between my apartment and my parents' house. And then the final stretch, which is on I-84, which starts in New York, and then there'll be a crossover where 84 then crosses the border into Pennsylvania. Got some mountains. I have the lake here, my parents' home. I also have a cutout of that. Let me find that quickly. Make another one real quick, perhaps. Pretty simple to do. I'll have my parents' house up here, close to the lake. Again, it's not 100% accurate, but again, we're just kind of mapping out, right? An experience or a thing or a day. Really, again, you had free reign to decide the thing that you wanted to map out, you know. So, all right, so I got a little cutout from my parents' house. Parents' house will go right about here. And then also one thing that I had mentioned in terms of landmarks, we had the gas station, the lake, and then also the grocery store, which I haven't yet decided how I'm going to do. I might just make like a quick drawing of it, maybe use like a piece of paper or another piece of cardboard to represent that. And then pretty much there you go. I'll have my last landmark. Why don't we do, let me see if I can find another colored paper here. Alright, so I got another red. I think it's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little different color red than my apartment, so I'll use that. I'm just going to cut out like a simple rectangle, rough cut. Again, you know, like I'm lucky to have some colored paper here, but really like any sort of paper you can use. I know that I had asked people to look for recyclable paper material. That's always really good, like newspaper stuff or stuff, magazines. I mean, even if you find pictures in magazines and you want to collage pictures from a magazine into it, you know, that's completely fine by me. And I, you know, encourage you guys to do that and to think outside the box. You know, we're working with what we got. All right, so I got a little three-dimensional. That'll represent the supermarket that I sometimes stop at. Most times, my parents are already up there, but they'll call me last minute. Hey, could you pick something up for us? And I'm typically doing that before I get there. Okay, so I have all of the major symbols, and really, you know, at this point, we would be doing, like I said, a lot of labeling, so we can write into the map. I think writing into the map is fine. Like, I'm definitely going to want to make this clear that this is Bear Mountain. It might not be something that's in the map specifically. Like, I'll maybe draw this shape or these mountain kind of shapes and people will know it's mountains, but I'll still want to title the actual mountain here. So, like, this one would be Bear Mountain. And then this one would be, I think the closest mountain to us or my parents would be Mount Pocono, which is in Pennsylvania. So again, but really one of the most important things that I want you to do right now, because it is required for this, the other maps that you had made this week, you didn't necessarily need a key, and this is why I had asked you to take a screen cap of your key from last Friday's lesson, so that you would have some kind of reference, you know, to be able to create a key for this final map. So, as we're looking right here, what I'm gonna do is, now that I have all of like the major parts that I think I'm gonna want to include on the map kind of laid out, I'm gonna then just like quickly with a pencil Got my pencil over here. Okay. Draw the little symbols that I've done the pre-work on, all right, and then show the meaning in the map key or legend. Okay, so I'm going to start with my rectangle. This is going to be red. I'll just make a quick note of it. This will be my apartment. Just a quick abbreviation. Then the bridge for sure. So the first bridge is a Triborough Bridge. Notice the way that I drew the Triborough Bridge in comparison to the George Washington Bridge. So there are like these X's in the bridge. So this is the Triborough. Okay. Obviously to the road. So, you know, if we had a picture, a quick picture of like a road. You know, we'll add color. You know, your color should correspond with what you have, you know, down or what you're planning to put down. So this would be road. All right, then we got the George Washington Bridge, which is a little different. Obviously, the colors, I'm using green for the Triborough. Make a note of that. Green roads are black and yellow. This is the GWB. And that's going to be silver. I want to have one of those fancy paint markers. The mountain range. Right? Mountains. I'm going to do that gas station shape. I'm going to put more detail into all these. And in the final slide, I'll show you my finished work. This will be the gas station. Okay, we have obviously the lake, which I'll just kind of put, and that'll be blue. Lake, put Lake Wallenpaupack, that's the big lake up there, Wallenpaupack. And then we have my parents' home. Parents. And then the last thing, I'll just put it on the side here, a little extra. And I'll, you know, obviously again, you can redraw this, and again, I'm just kind of quickly putting together. This is what my final key will look like, and again, you will need a final key for your work. So then I have the supermarket, that three-dimensional shape here, that's in red also, but that's different red. This is IGA, that's the name of the supermarket. We have the lake, we have my parents' house, just kind of double checking here. So we have all the major parts, I think, of our key, our legend. Once you have this, you're good to start then designing. Again, as a reminder, all of the key symbols that you draw out or that you plan out before making the key, make sure that the colors correspond to it. Okay, that's an indicator to know the difference between, for instance, the Triborough Bridge being green as opposed to the George Washington Bridge being silver. Make sure those distinctions are clear in your key. So I'm actually, I don't want to spend too much more time talking. I definitely, this is a you know, a big project, and I want you to get working on it immediately. I think I've given you enough in terms of what you need to get started. Again, you have a lot of freedom. Okay, take advantage of that in terms of obviously the theme of your map. As well as the way that you're creating it. Okay, you think outside the box. All right, you know, use materials that you have around the house. Those paper materials, cardboard, anything. Receipts are great too. Crinkling them up, getting that texture in it, I think is a really great idea. Remember, as just a final reminder, to have your key, your key doesn't have to be a part of your actual design. It could be aside from the map, but a key is required for a completed final map. So make sure that your key is filled out, it's clear, that the symbols you've drawn correspond with the colors that you decide or will decide to have. You have free reign on that color. So I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time right now working on my map. When I have it finished, I'll be able to share it in the next slide so you can see the finished product. Again, if you have any questions, any problems, please reach out to me right away. I'll be able to get back to you. I can't really, I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with for this. So have fun, and we'll talk soon. Bye.